member of Justin Baptist Church in Carson. I'll have this young man, Christian Sanskar, come up and share what the Lord already shared with him.
How y'all doing today? Thank you guys for having me here. This is the first time I've ever talked in front of a crowd like this, so bear with me. So, thank you. Just before I start, I met a few people when I came in, and you guys welcomed me with open arms. So I thank you guys, and I can tell this is a good church. And so, and let's give a round of applause for everybody who put this together. And so, before I start, I just want to give a little, let y'all know who I am. So, my name is Christian. Like he said, thank you. Like he said, I'm from Justin Baptist Church in Carson, and I serve in the Speak Life Youth Ministry. Speak Life is where we work with middle school and high school students. And Speak Life is really just a place for kids to come and fellowship with one another. And the ultimate goal is just to help them either start their relationship with Christ or build their relationship with Christ. And so, I'm 20, I'm young, but I got an old soul. I can connect with anybody. So after this, if you guys want to have a conversation, you can, So, the quote for this event is, "Age ain't nothing but a number," and I truly believe that. No matter what age you are, you guys can make an impact on anywhere you go. And so the scripture is 1 Timothy 4, verse 12, and I'll read that for you guys. And I'm reading from the New Living Translation, and it says, "Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young." Again, I'm gonna read that one more time.
Yeah.
"Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, and the way you live, and your love, your faith, and your purity." And so, the church I'm from, my pastor, he likes to put a title on everything that he teaches. And so, the title of this, I want to title it, "You Are VIP." And for those who don't know what VIP means, it's not the same VIP, that we think, the exclusive and all that. VIP stands for valuable, created in the image of God, purposed to advance His kingdom. If you guys can say that again with me. So VIP is valuable, created in the image of God, purposed to advance His kingdom. And so let's, if you guys would just join me in prayer. Dear God, thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of these people, God. Thank you for putting on this event, God, that we can come and fellowship with one another. Young with the older generations, older generations with the young, teaching everybody, just teaching each other new things. I truly believe that you brought us here for a reason. It's a Saturday, we could have gone and done other things, but I believe that you brought us here for a reason. And God, just allow us to have a good time and incline all the ears for what you are going to say through me, God. And it's your name that I pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
And so, again, like I said, we are all VIP. And, VIP is not in our society, we like to see VIP as the exclusive people, backstage passes, the rich, stuff like that. But really, VIP are people that God can use to spread His love, His word, and and use those people to show that who He truly is. And so, in the Bible, the event is about young people. So God, He uses two young people in the Bible by the name of David and Joseph, who are VIP. And for you guys that don't know, I'll go over who Joseph really is, who Joseph is. So Joseph was a boy who was 17, and he was the youngest of his 11 brothers. And his brothers were hating on him because his father favored him out of all his brothers. Okay. And when you're not the favorite, you kind of hating on the favorite because you wish you was the favorite. Amen. So they was hating on him, and so one day or two nights he receives these dreams or revelations, if you will, about what God has planned for his life. And these dreams consisted of, planets and stars bowing down to him. And his grain that he picked in the field were being bowed to by his brothers' grains. And so when he told his brothers and his fathers, like, these are the dreams that we're having, or that God had revealed to me, his brothers were hating. Oh, you think I'm about to bow to you? You must be out your mind. Like, that's not gonna happen. So much doubt that his father even doubted him. Like, I'm about to you. Like, this really was gonna happen. And so, his brothers again were just hating on him, so much so that they sold him into slavery. And when he was sold into slavery, he was bought by a man named Potiphar. And Potiphar noticed how God was with him. And so he made him head of the household, of Potiphar's household. And right there, you could just see how God was working through Joseph's life, and eventually became the ruler of Egypt. And the next man, the next boy, David. So David, if you guys don't know, was a young man, was the youngest of his 7 brothers as well. Yeah. And David wasn't the strongest, wasn't the tallest, didn't really stand out like his other brothers did. And so God has sent Samuel the prophet to Bethlehem to find the next king of Israel. And so when he went, God said, that's David over there. And he's the next anointed king. So, Samuel let him know, okay, you are going to be the next king. So eventually, the Israelites went into battle with the Philistines. And the Israelites were so terrified to fight the Philistines for one reason, because of one man named Goliath. Goliath was, and it says in the Bible, Goliath was over 9 feet tall. Yeah. And he was so strong that he had 125 pounds of armor. He had a man carrying his shield. It took 2 men to carry his sword. Like, the whole 9. He was the man, he was the man. And so, they were terrified, the Israelites were terrified. And so one day his father told him to take loaves of bread to his brothers and see how they're doing, and report back and tell me how they're doing. So he does that, and he arrives to the battlefield and sees that all the Israelite army is scared. He's like, why are you guys scared? He said, do you not see this man? Who's defying us? Like, he's scary. I ain't gonna fight this man. I'm not trying to die. So, you feel me? So he said, well, if you guys are scared, I'll take him on. I have a relationship with Jesus. I have a relationship with God. God has put me through a lot. I've fought bears. I fought lions to save my sheep. So this 9-foot giant is nothing to me. Like, and I know God's with me, so he's not gonna leave me by myself. So word got to Saul the king, and Saul said, go ahead, let him go and fight. So he goes. David has his five smooth stones and his sling, and defeats Goliath. And it says, and it goes on to say that David then picked up the sword himself. And mind you, it took 2 grown men to pick up this sword. And David scrawny, who was scrawny, picked up the sword himself and cut off Goliath's head. And when God is working through you, he's not going to just do the bare minimum. He's going to work all the way through you because he wants to receive the glory. He's going to show all his power. And so, but with these 2 men, we see what I noticed was they went through these 3 C's that I made. The first is confirmation, courage, and confidence. All right. So when we see with Joseph, it was confirmed of what God had planned for his life, that he was one day going to become a ruler. And I don't know about you guys, I've never had a dream of any planets or stars bowing down to me. And when God confirms something in your life, there's no second doubt that that's what he has planned for your life. Amen. And with courage, it took courage to take on all the things that he'd been through. His brothers hating on him, his dad, doubting what he was telling him, being sold into slavery by your brother. That's a lot to go through as a 17-year-old boy. And so he had courage, and he had the confidence that God has an end plan for me, and it's going to all work out, and I know God's not going to leave me by myself. And with David, we see David was confirmed that he was going to be the next king by Samuel the prophet. And and you can see this when he was going to be a good leader, because he did something that grown men didn't want to do, which was to go and fight Goliath. And so right there, you could just tell he was going to be a good leader. And it took courage for him to do that, because he could have simply said, okay, well, I was only sent here to give you guys loaves of bread. I'm about to go back. If y'all not fighting him, I'm not going to fight him. And he had confidence. He had confidence that God was going to be with him through this whole battle. And he was confident that God had prepared him for something like this by fighting bears and fighting lions. And if that's not enough, I can use my life as an example with these 3 C's. When I was younger, as far as I can remember, I've always liked helping people. I've always cared about people's futures. I've always cared about making sure everybody was good. And so, but when I was younger, I really did not like going to church. Only because I was staying up the night before till like 2 in the morning playing video games, and my mom would drag me to church to the 7 a.m. service. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I was falling asleep during service. I'm like, why am I here? And so, I'm thankful that she, kept me coming too, though. But, eventually, as I was getting older and started to mature, I started to listen to my pastor's teachings. And my sophomore year, one day after service, I ran straight to my mom's car because I didn't talk to nobody. I was in my own little bubble. And one of the youth leaders, Miss Lily, came to me and said, "How would you like to join Speak Life?" And I was like, I don't know, like, I don't know, I don't really want to socialize with nobody, And so she offered me. She said, "We meet every second and fourth Sunday. You're always welcome to come." So I was like, okay, I'll think about it. Went home, forgot about it. I didn't even think twice about it. So then, she kept coming, and my junior year, she came to me again, and ironically, my mom didn't have anything to do that day, and so Miss Lily came to me and said, "How would you feel about, would you want to come to Speak Life today?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" Took that leap of faith. And so, I loved it. The students welcomed me with open arms. The youth workers were great. So, then, I continued to come for the rest of my junior year. Went through my senior year with Speak Life. And, I graduate from high school. And then, I'm like, hey, I'm about to go to college. I ain't got to worry about no more Speak Life. I'm about to do my own thing. I'm about to be partying, all that, whole 9, right? So then Miss Lily, I guess God has some other plans for me, because Miss Lily comes and says, "How would you feel about being a youth leader?" And I'm thinking, oh gosh, if I do this, there ain't no going back. Like, oh my. And mind you, when I was younger, I just never thought I would have anything to do with church. Like, I never thought I would get involved with church, for this simple reason: I didn't think I was going to be able to leave church. But and I told myself, like, if I'm saying I want to help kids and stuff and help people, why wouldn't I be a youth leader? And so, I told her I would think about it, and I genuinely thought about it. And a few weeks come by, and she asked me again, and I told her yes. And so, I felt right there was the confirmation right there from God that this is something I'm supposed to do, to help young folk and be that good advice that they hear, because when they're out in the world, they hear everything that that the enemy wants them to hear, that will shy them away from God's glory. And so I was like, yeah, I'll become a youth leader. So my first year of college, I was just kind of in the background, used to just pray over the offering here and there, wasn't really involved. And then one day, all the youth leaders were at a park in Inglewood watching a movie, and then I'm talking to Miss Lily again, and she's like, "How would you feel about teaching?" I was like, "Oh, God." And like I said, I've never taught. I've taught one-on-one before, but teaching in front of kids, and I know how kids think, like, "Oh, this is boring. Why are we even learning this?" And I didn't want to be that guy, because if y'all tell me that, we're gonna have some problems, So and it would have been selfish for me to say no, because if this is to help them build a relationship with Christ, why wouldn't I do that? That would be selfish of me. So, a few weeks go by and I say, Miss Lily, I'll do it. And that's where courage is shown, because I could have easily said no. And when you get confirmation from God about something you're supposed to do, it's not going to be smooth sailings, because it's going to be some challenges that's going to come in your way. You're gonna have to take that leap of faith and go over that fear that you have. And so I was like, okay, Miss Lily, I'll do it. So the day comes, and I'm suited down like I am today, because it gives me a little confidence boost. All right, it gives me a little confidence boost. And so we're doing announcements and all that, and I'm sitting, I'm like, okay, I got this, talking to myself. Then we get done with announcements and we break off with our sessions, and I'm with the middle schoolers. And I don't think I put on enough deodorant that day, because I had sweat dripping all on my sides. I was sweating, my mouth was dry. I was like, oh my God. So, I'm teaching, and my confidence wasn't really up, but Miss Lily and our other youth leader, Miss Natasha, was like, don't even worry about it. You're gonna do good at this. God is just gonna start speaking through you. Don't even worry about it. So that gave me a little bit more confidence. And so I'm teaching, and I get done, and I'm asking review questions, and they're answering, raising their hands. I'm like, dang, they actually listening to me. Like, okay, like maybe I'm doing a little good at this. And that's where my confidence kicked in. Like, if I was able to do this, maybe I can do more. And the kids are actually listening to what I'm saying. And so right there, you can even see that the 3 C's were shown right there in my life. And all I'm really trying to say is, like, you guys should just have confidence in what God has called you to be. Yeah. Even though you may not even know what God has called you to be right now, but sometime down the line, God is going to shine that light on what He wants you to do. And don't think, He's not showing me. I'm this age and He hasn't shown me. There's no lost time when you're working with God. Like Hurt said, he was saved at 30. And so it's not like there's no time wasted. Now he's doing God's work. And so don't ever get discouraged about your age. I'm 20, but I can talk to a 70-year-old man and communicate with him and have a good conversation. I can talk to a middle schooler and feel like we're best friends. So whatever God has called you to be confident in that. I can't go out and try and be an NFL star, because God didn't call me to be that. He has certain people in the NFL that are there to spread His love, spread His word, and share and be a testimony of God. And He has people in the science field that are there to spread His word, spread His love, and to tell people who God truly is. And so whatever it is, just be confident in whatever God calls you to be. And just remember that you guys are VIP, valuable, created in the image of God, purpose to advance His kingdom. Thank you.
I should know I can see now. I got back on my feet now. I can take out my team down.